Hi folks, Ronnie's here with me today, and I'm sure you've seen the other videos we've been doing, but I thought this was a perfect opportunity to talk specifically Firefight, especially as we're coming up to the end of the Firefight Slow Grow campaign now, so you can give us all the juicy details about what does the future hold for Firefight.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope the future is very, very bright for Firefight. I think the challenge for us as a well-known fantasy rank and flank game manufacturer, and then putting Armada out, which kind of continued to build Panithor, was what can we do about sci-fi? We had Dead Zone, second edition was very, very popular.
Yep.
Loved. I know the problem with the skirmish games, it goes so far, and then, you know, the only way to change it is to get more people to play it, so you get more people to play against. Whereas a war game is that infinite and never-ending joy, because you infinite game is infinite. So, Firefight, beautiful game, came out, released very, very well. Lots of people very excited. The gameplay is so slick, so enjoyable. Yeah. The obvious place is you go, well, let's do some more armies.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, but actually, people are just painting the army they've got.
Yeah.
You know, you're just getting on top of it. What you want to start doing is playing and playing and playing. And so I started saying, look, I think the thing that we need to be doing is just bringing more people in and keeping the focus on the gameplay, on changing that meta and keeping it fresh, and letting it scale up. So you just want to keep adding to your army and keep changing how you play until enough people, because it's like Kings of War was version 1.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we've got to remember is, you know, we know there's a couple of quite popular sci-fi games out there. What we offer is different. Well, I think it's slicker, I think it's cleaner, I think it's more fun, and you can play in an evening, you can build your army easier in all senses of word, money, pocket, time, brain space. But, so it's got that same Kings of War vibe there. But so we're going to do tanks.
Tanks.
Like tank porn is what I want to call it. It's like tank porn. And what we're going to say is you don't need to paint many more figures. Actually, just take what you've got, but add 6 tanks to it.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you different variety, and then tank killing things off field, flyers, anti-aircraft guns. So you really move to that mechanised warfare battlefield, which I think is where sci-fi wants to go. So I think that's middle of next year. It's going to come out, and we're going to take that. By then, you'll have beautiful trees and gaming tables to play on. So you'll be, and I'm thinking that we've asked the RC to go away and really work up a very satisfying. So we might, and this is might because they are literally working on it as we speak, and we'll be looking. But how about you get to that next level of the game where we're going to add 6 or 8 tanks. They fight brigades. So if you're fighting as a regiment of 3. There's some benefits, off field, but they can be targeted. If you take some damage, your tracks might come off, your engine gets blown out, so then it's just a shooting. But you've kind of got that like fury, where they're there and it's slowly, bit at a time. But when you've got a tank, it makes a real mess. And I think, wow, that would really bring a whole ton of people in, because I don't think there's any sci-fi game that's specific built around the tanks with infantry support. Why do you, if you don't have any infantry support, people just run up and throw a grenade up the exhaust pipe, and we know it's game over. So you need your infantry to work with, but actually centre around 3-6 tanks, flyers, mechanised, anti-tank, howitzer.
It sounds fantastic, because it's one of those things where if that's not your job, if you're not really into the tanks and stuff, you can still
stay where you are.
You stay where you are. Still play the game with the main kind of troops and units that way. But I just think for me, the visual aspect of just seeing all of those on it, and to be fair, they paint up pretty quick as well. Like you can paint a tank up a lot faster than you can paint up like sort of 10, 20 men.
Which is why I thought it took it to a place where no one else lives. There's no other game in that space. Our kits for this stuff are brilliant.
Yeah.
They're easy to go together. They're pretty affordable. We'll do a buy 2 get 3rd free box. We'll do the conversion bits as STLs and as resin, so you can just upgrade however you want, but it takes it to a place where it's got something unique, it's got something different that no one else has, and it's where we want to go. And if you've just done your slow grow, or you've got halfway through, I've got a Forge Father army, it's kind of there, and I've just pulled them all off the little regiment bases. What I want a game. Tell me what I need to do. Put 3 more tanks down, put a couple more Iron Answers. Yes, all right. Get a couple of anti-tank. All right, I'm doing that. I'll have that. And that's, I think, plays to the strength of what we want to do as gamers. With where we are. Not a lot of work. Don't need to do it if you don't want to, but I think a lot of us will, and I think it will bring a whole nother wave of people that sat there going, I've only heard good things about this game. Tell me why I should do it. That's a good reason, I'll do that.
It's interesting because I guess like what Firefight had going for it right from the start was it already had a full range. And then ordinarily if a new game comes out, it's almost your first step is just, well, we need to get some more units out. We need to flesh out the armies. We need to build the armies a little bit more. You guys didn't have to do that.
Correct.
You already had those armies. So that's why, for me, I think it makes a lot of sense.
And we're doing new army with one with red. No. Let's take it into a place that just makes it even more fun. Doubles down on what it's got. It's got a beautiful plastic range. People have got some armies. They might have got the previous Kickstarter, so they've probably even got the models. You just need the inspiration to get out there and do it. If you've got your app, you'll have the rules. So bosh, just come on, go dig it out, get going, get gaming, because what we need to do this year, next year, year after, is build the audience. The more we build the audience, the better the game gets. Then when you put a new army out, there's a big audience for it. It changes the meta all over again. It's not at this point looking after the few customers we have, the few fans we have, the few players we have. It's getting more. And I think this is a great way of doing it. I think, making a gaming table just look different by adding tanks and they fight in ways. And I'm so excited what the RC can do with it because I think it's a great brief. If I was at any kind of skills when it comes to rules, these are the ones that I want to write. And it's hard because you can't make it boring. You can't make, you run out of ammunition, and it becomes logistical. Which Dead Zone 1, I was like, how many bullets are in the thing? You need to reload after 6. But you realise it becomes too much admin. And you don't want that. But you do want that idea that the tracks have been damaged. But it's still shooting. I mean, it's still got a blinking big gun on it. So, we'll run up to it and get a grenade on it and get an anti-tank shot off it because it's still messing up my... No, that's cool. So I think you can just add a little layer of granularity that will bring something to the game without it being... tied down or overly administrative. A couple of counters. Because they're a big thing, if you think of them, they're like a giant, they're like a dragon. They can take a few wounds. They can not fight as well. And a little bit of interesting graphics, some markers, guns out, but it's still moving, you can still troop transport or tracks out or half speed or whatever else, can keep it fresh but it's still a valid unit, it's still getting in there. So I think it could be really good fun.
I think it's going to be dead interesting. And as you say, it's about recruitment as well. Like that's, we're still, I suppose, from a Firefight perspective, still in that recruitment phase and growing the audience and growing the community. I think once you see that on a table with a load of tanks and a load of flyers and bits and pieces.
And you're playing in 2 hours.
Yes, exactly.
People are going to be like, well, what's that? You didn't seem to have any arguments. What's the point in this game? No, it's that idea that it's slick. We got the joy we have is we have got the chance with very talented rules writers, with people who've been playing games all their lives to say, this is what I want in a game. I want to play in 2 hours. I want it to be good fun. I want it to be tactical. I want it to be challenging. Many people still say to me, "Oh, King's always too simple." I said, "Play it. Tell me if it's too simple." Oh, it's not too simple, is it? No, it isn't. Because the joy is the opponent. The joy is the terrain. The joy is the dice rolls. It's your army building. There's enough complexity in that. You don't need to make the game complex. And I think that's what Firefight's got. It's beautiful because it's slick, it's smooth, it's well written. Now we can have some fun by taking the armies on and taking the things on.
It was one of the things I found from Firefight quite early on, and one of the reasons that I really enjoyed the game was a friend of mine, John, came here. He brought his army. I played mine for the first time. I don't think we looked at the rule book. We both read it in advance, kind of thing, flipped through it, knew a little bit of kind of what we're doing. We might have had a reference the odd thing, but we played the game, not spent the day looking in the rule book about how does this work, how does that work.
And that's what makes it a Mantic game.
It does,
that's why I call them second generation games, made by people that played these games when they were kids, who've got Alessio to write Kings of War. Mr. Sharp wrote this one based on Dead Zone 1, 2, 3. They're slick, they're evolved, they're relaxed. I want to play a game, have fun. I kind of want to win, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is having fun with my mate and painting my armies, trying something new out, catch me out with a new unit or two, because that's what you beat me on last time. and then going for a beer.
Yeah.
And then enjoying it. And I think that's what we want out of I want out of my gaming, and that's what Mantic wants.
I think we align in our kind of like thoughts about gaming very, very much in that way. It was one of the reasons why with the Slow Grow campaign, I was really sort of excited to have this little mini event at the end that was designed around a little bit of a kind of like a bit of a, you know, a bit of a motivator.
Yeah, you do. Well, you need the deadline. We all need that deadline. You do need that point that just gets you to go, no. It's like going to the gym, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't want to go unless you're one of those fit and healthy people. I just don't want to go. But every time you do, you think, "Thank God I did that. I'm really pleased. I got a miles. I did it." And you just need that thing. I'm gonna, you know what? I am going to just paint this unit.
That's it.
And when you've done it, you feel blinking great because it's there, and you can go to the game everything that progresses. And I think that your slow grow's been brilliant. You know, carrying 200 people through. That we talked about earlier on the previous video. That hard first steps.
That's it.
And it's not just the painting; it's also the playing.
Yeah, that's it.
That first game is the one where you think, well, I might just get tabled here. I might just not. I might not know the rules. Always, you play it, you roll some dice. You go, oh, it's coming back to me. Yeah, I know this.
And that's another one of the reasons why I kind of like that kind of event at the end. Why I was really kind of keen to have it was that there will be people coming, and I know because they've mentioned it. They've never played a game yet. They've been building their army up. They've been painting their army, and they're coming along to literally play their first games. And I can't wait for them to play that first game with a little bit of support, and for them to go, oh. Like,
not that intimidating, is it?
Actually, because I know for a fact we're playing 3 games on the day. It's not a tournament. There's no prizes for first, second, third, anything like that. It is a celebration of kind of finishing your army. That's it. And I know for a fact by the time they've played the first game, I'll be getting asked a lot less questions in games 2 and 3 because they'll be up to speed.
Got it. And that's what lovely. You just got to remember, okay. You know, those little keywords, but they start coming back to you. And you know, those 2 or 3 weeks, those people hadn't quite finished, and you got that event. Come on, and then you've got a painted army. You're having a game, and I think that's what's wonderful about the slow grows that you're doing. I think it's just great because it takes people through the hardest part, demystifying the painting, and then the first couple of games when you get your game, because you don't want to turn up to a tournament having never played and get absolutely tabled, and there you go.
That's it. I mean, you can see over there I've got a GCPS.
I'm looking at it,
It's there because it's ready for a video that I'm going to show. I'm going to paint that in 2 days, basically, to show that you might have had 3 months, but you've still got 4 weeks left.
Correct.
You've still got time. You've still got time. If I can do that in 2 days, you can do it in 2 days.
Just chipping it off and just knocking away at it, and you get you there. And that's what's exciting. Brilliant.
So I want to say thanks to you and to Mantic for helping to support the Slow Grow campaign.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
Thank you for coming today as well and giving us the scoop on the tanks as well.
Well, there it is. Tank porn, here it comes, and I think it's going to be great for, I should say tank, but mechanised vehicles and flyers and a whole other level that would just I think keep the game growing and take it into places that other games don't live.
And I look forward to seeing those tanks driving around these trees as well.
They look good, don't they? It's going to be good. Your whole gaming table looks entirely different.
I like that. Jungle warfare with a tank. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next video.